And then all of a sudden, we go,
Okay. All right, it's 6:30. I'm going to call the meeting to order. 2.0 prayer. Mr. Wayland.
Great. Oh, our God Almighty, thank you for this opportunity once again come before you and serve the people of Stephenson County. Pray that we do so with candor, with understanding, with consideration, and with just with an idea of doing the best we can for the folks that live and work at Stephenson County Nursing Home, otherwise known as Walnut Acres. And thank you for our new interim administrator, Marcos, being able to be here tonight. Pray that you help us all act in wisdom. Thank you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Right. Moving on to 3.0, approval of tonight's agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 4.0, review and approval of meeting minutes from July 11th. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Whelan, do I have a second? Mr. Key. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5.0, approval of claims totaling the amount of cash requirements and manuals, $249,428.78. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Whalen, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bradley, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Okay. 6.0, public comment. Do you have any public comment? If you do, please. Okay. All right. Moving on. 7.0, reports to committee. 7.1 is an S&C administrator report. So Marcos, this would be your welcome and your first administrative report. I'm sure TCM will help you if you have any questions. The floor is yours.
Obviously, we're starting off as in my role that I'm in now. Today's census in the facility is 42. Just to give you a breakdown of what that is, 33 of those 42 are covered under their Medicaid benefit. 3 of them are covered under their Medicare Part A type of insurance. 4 of those are private pay or self-pay individuals, and then 2 of them are commercial plan insurance. So that's, as far as what that's been and what that will be going forward, just with me taking over the facility as I have, and even discussions I've had with the management team more recently, that we will continue to push the facility census going forward and challenging our clinical staff as far as our clinical capabilities and all of that. So we'll be moving onward and upward as we move forward now ahead with our abilities in that way. So in addition to that, Seth Shelley, the maintenance director for the facility, had also put together a report for maintenance needs or maintenance updates for the facility. Just noting, as far as I think what's been communicated to this committee, just noting tests that have been completed with relation to fire safety, including the facility's fire alarm annual inspection, completed a little bit before I came on board on July 9th. No deficiencies found with regard to that. Just noting other inspections that were completed as far as the facility's fire extinguishers, the exit signs, the generator itself, a weekly test, a monthly load test, and of course, also monthly required fire drills that are carried out by the facility by regulation as well. He had noted that also shortly before I came on board, electricity for the facility going out on July 15th due to bad storms that moved through the area. He just noted in this case that the generator performed as expected and the facility power was restored. In addition to that, as far as the, again, just coming into this as I have at this point, as far as the facility HVAC systems, an individual from LOSHA provided an update that the 3 rooftop units and ceiling mounted unit for the service hall would be replaced by the end of August. 2 air handlers and the air conditioning units for the certain sections of the facility The north and south ends of the building are on order and are about 8 to 10 weeks out. And actually, Seth gave me an update on that the other day as well, just noting that that is still the case. We're on course as far as that time frame for that equipment. So we're still on course for that, as I understand it at this point for the facility. And then he made a notation as well as far as the solar field that services the facility, just as far as mowing needs as it related to that, just general grounds maintenance for that area. Also establishing with the management staff as far as a monthly safety committee meeting, as far as what that is and as far as those discussions, I'm kind of reinstituting that, kind of bringing that forward now as well. In addition to the facility's quality assurance performance improvement committee, which will also meet monthly with the medical director to kind of discuss our facility systems as a whole, how we operate as a facility, and to be able to monitor our systems with regard to how we do everything, all the services that are provided. So when public health, when the state comes into our facility, we'll be able to show that we're monitoring and tracking as far as trends and patterns found as far as any of the services that we provide. And so that'll be an ongoing process as required by regulation as well. I think one other miscellaneous note is the family and friends celebration, which will be taking place for the facility on Saturday, September 14th. And that's from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. that day which is an event I believe has been held by the facility for some time, although it's been a little bit of time since they've last had that. But that would take place, like I said, that day as well, on Saturday, September 14th. And I think that's all I had, at least for today. So
Good. Anybody have any questions for Marcos?
How do you feel about the transition from Adrian now that she's done?
I think it's coming along.
Okay.
There's a lot of good people that serve that facility, both frontline staff and management staff. I think with me coming on board now as well, I think I'm trying to make that as smooth a process as possible. And I think I have a lot of support in that way. So I'm very optimistic at this point that we'll be able to continue to make needed improvements as needed and move in the right direction. So
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes, I have a question. When you come into the building to the left, that's still the physical therapy room.
yes.
I understand the air conditioning wasn't working in the physical therapy room the other day. Is any truth to that, or?
That is actually the case. That immediate, when you walk into the main entrance of the building, that immediate central area was affected by a temporary outage.
Okay,
But the HVAC vendor did come in the next day and that was repaired.
okay,
But from what's been explained to me, that the repair that was made was more of kind of a temporary repair because those air handling systems are apparently part of, I guess, what was noted here as far as our heating and cooling systems that are being repaired comprehensively as a whole,
mhm,
affecting the part of the building that's, I don't know my directions here yet. When you walk into the building to the right, that's kind of been out of commission since last year, maybe.
mhm.
But that's being repaired as a whole as part of a bigger project. So
So the air is working in the physical therapy room now.
it is.
Okay.
And the administrative offices and just kind of that central area there.
Okay, thank you.
Thankfully, none of the resident areas were affected as far as, where they reside. And so that was a good thing in this case.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any further questions for Marcos? Good job. All right. 7.2. T. Smith.
Let's start with the P and L. Remember last month, we didn't have May completed, we didn't have all the invoices. We were able to straighten out the invoices for May and June. May had a census of a little above 50, and we ended up small profit, $2,700. In contrast to June, the census dropped to 45. First loss of the year, 33,000. Still 79,000 ahead for the year, but the trend I think we knew was going that direction. Yeah, an agency situation and a lower census, and we've got a little bit more census and a little bit less expensive. Marcos will leave the charge there, and we'll be back into the profit zone in the near future, but I don't expect July to be profit. Exactly what it is yet. But I expect that July, that'll also be a loss. Any questions on the P&L? Let's go to the AR 18. Total we have is 1,253,519. Accounts receivable. The plus 210 category, we do have 99 and 70 cents. I think the write-off is a different line item on this agenda. So there is, so when we get to the write-off, we're continuing to chip away at the plus 210 category. Some of it needs to be written off. In a few minutes, we'll talk about that. That's really where we're at. Any questions on the accounts receivable? Let's go to the cash flow. I mean, in general, what we've talked about in the past couple of months, ending up the end of the year somewhere 0 to 200,000, 0 to negative 200,000 range. Of course, that's while we're making profits. July dip, I think that number is going to be closer to negative 200, 350,000 at the end of the year. It does catch up. Cash flow on the invoice side should start to get a little easier. I think we still have one or two more payments on the insurance. And then that falls off. So we'll see some positive cash flow for a while. And then, of course, by October, we'll hopefully get the 400,000. Questions on cash flow? Welcome, Marcos. Happy to see you here.
All right.
I have one question.
Sure. Yes, I have it.
I know our treasurers, wrote some checks to pay you guys. What's the balance now that we owe you?
I can get that once we make this deposit. I'll get an updated balance for the
Oh.
account.
Okay, then.
I don't know how much.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. 8.0, new business, discussion and approval of the proposed FY25 budget. Well, this is the first look at it. So please, Tim, this is what you guys want to talk on it?
Sure. We discussed this internally, and then we have a couple of years of history. It's a lot easier to do budget format wise, and just kind of trying to predict different items. What we have right now, it is a budget. I think it needs a few more tweaks, but what I'm looking at is like a $600 loss. That's not going to be an issue. So we do have a little work to do on it, but I'd say it's 95% plus finished. We based the census on 47, 2025. Been as high as 54 not too long ago, 42 today. 47 is a fair number. We did raise a couple of salaries. I think the department had 4%, I think, which goes with the county code. Union contract for positions. We're still waiting on some final numbers on the insurance liability and workers' comp. But in some numbers, an increase from last year, but that could come in. So I think by next month, Carrie will have given us the documents and estimates. I will plug those in, see if we have to make any other adjustments. So otherwise, it's, consistent with last year's, staffing and everything. So I'm not sure what question at this point, but yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Okay. So we'll just lay it over till next month. I have a feeling we're gonna be seeing this for the next couple months, but we'll just lay it over until you guys get your numbers and we'll just try to
Right.
on it.
And then we'll also have
Supplemental for next month.
for next month.
Okay. All right.
On that topic, is there anything that anyone on the committee has a concern with at the nursing centers relates to supplemental? Any requests? So make sure we include.
I think the only thing I can recall is the Wally list we had, some of the maintenance items that we need to be considering.
Like
If there's
the,
anything,
look at the
well, if there's
age.
anything left on there, I know, the grounds maintenance, the parking. I don't remember all the stuff. You want to peruse that list. Yeah, consideration of any supplemental would be a good idea.
And wasn't there the wall separating from the cinder blocks? The brick.
And I know there was some doors that he was concerned about. I don't
Yeah,
remember-
those were you're talking about the dining room windows
Mhm.
with the wall, the window and the wall.
Maybe you should have that list provided to our maintenance person out there now. Let Marcos and he take a look at that over the next month.
Administrator will get that for you.
All right. I need to take it to lay it over.
Right over.
Do I have a motion to lay it over by Mr. Wayland? Do I have a second?
Second.
Hadley, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of laying it over, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right, 8.2, approval of bid for therapy services. I know that was included in the packet. Have any comments on renewal therapy?
I think they're in town. They have other contracts in the Freeport area, which that has been the challenge with the last 3 companies is finding staff. So with them having other contracts in the area, it makes it easier to help, share staff, absorb staff, and make sure services are provided. So we feel like it was the only bid we got, and we are on a timeline that the current therapy provider ends on September 4th. So we are looking for a quick start with these folks, renewal. And clinically, we feel like they've got nice programs to meet the needs of our residents at the center and hopefully to help with any increase in our Medicare census for people that require more skilled visits, return to the community.
Good. Mr. Whalen,
Just probably make a motion first.
do I have a motion to?
I move to approve the agreement.
Do I have a second? Second. Ms. Jackie, okay. Any question?
Marcos, are you familiar with these folks at all? Renewal Rehab LLC, I said, are you familiar with them?
I'm
Are
sorry.
you familiar with them?
Yes, I've actually worked with them before.
Okay.
And have had good outcomes with them. So I have no particular concerns with them.
Just curious. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the therapy? Nope. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of bad debt write-off the third or second quarter. I think you were just about ready to comment on that.
So there's 2 parts to this write-off. The write-off request is $1,887.96. But when you dig a little bit deeper, we've got 2 different numbers here. There's $18,963.27, which we'll recommend the write-off. that are from more of the traditional type of scenarios that we've seen in the past. We did put, we redacted the residents' name, but we put the note next to them. And then the second half of this relates to that Meridian Medicaid. I know we've talked about it. Appears as though there's an overpayment on the books. So we were able to verify $75.31 is tied to the incorrect rate that was entered into Matrix years ago. And so it really isn't an overpayment. And so we're requesting to write off both a positive and a negative number. That's why you see the offset in here. It's 1,887. But we will be taking the 5% management fee off the 18,896 number, Mr. White, in case you didn't ask that, and crediting that back. Next invoice, assuming that this gets passed.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Hadley, have a second?
Second.
By Mr. Bush. Chairman, did you?
Nope.
Nope, okay. Any more discussion? Yes, Mr. Whalen?
So am I to understand then, Mike, that this, could that 17,075.31 would come off the Meridian MMAI line on the AR report, or where's that coming from?
Yeah, it will come off the Meridian.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
9.0, old business. No business. 10.0, public comment. Does anybody have any public comment? No? Nope. All right. 11.0, adjournment.
Mr. Bush,
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Whalen, do I have a second?
Second.
By Mr. Hadley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't get it. I mean, when I thought I looked at my email.
Not bad.
Oh, that's why I don't, I,
Sorry, I didn't make the meeting last night.
send me a copy,
Yeah.
please.
Georgia gets stuck upstairs.
Can't get